So the world is crazy right now, and you've got some big opinions and some important things to say, and you're wondering, how do I speak up? And should I speak up? What do I do? And what do I say? And how do I say it when the world has gone crazy? You know what? You are in luck. I tell my wife I'm a communication expert, and that's just not because I'm good at it. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. But I do a lot of communicating, which means I've done a lot of bad communicating. So I can help you sort through 10 tips and tactics to make sure that you are communicating effectively and letting your voice be heard. Okay, so the first thing to consider is, who is your audience? In other words, who are you trying to convince or compel? Whose mind are you trying to change? Are you trying to change anybody's mind at all? So figure out who your audience is and understand that your tone is going to impact whether or not they listen to you. I'll tell you what, if I see a Facebook post or something on Twitter and it's all in caps lock and there's a bunch of cussing, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the unfollow button. Like, I don't want anything to do with you cussing at me or using the caps lock. I'm just going to unfollow you. So remember that your audience is going to listen or not listen depending on your tone and what you say. So be careful to communicate to the people who you want to hear your message in a way that they're going to hear you. Number 2, you got to understand your brand. In other words, who are you representing? Look, if you're working for an organization and you are doing their social media management, you got to understand the values of your organization. Okay, if you're not working for an organization and you're just representing yourself, understand that you represent your family. Again, you represent yourself, and people are going to draw conclusions about you and your family based on the things that you write. Me, I represent a church, and I understand that when I say things, I represent them. Also, in understanding your brand, understand that your brand informs or inspires what you say. I'm a pastor. I work for a church. That brand informs what I say. For me specifically, the Bible informs what I say. So everything I believe, everything I say, first goes through the filter of, what is the Bible saying? What is the Bible communicating to me about what needs to be said? So everything I believe or say comes through that filter, number 1. So that's how brand informs what we believe or what we say. Number 3, what's your point? Now, maybe you just want to get on social media and you want to vent because it makes you feel good. That's okay, but you're probably not going to convince anybody. You're probably not going to win anybody to your side. You're probably not going to change someone's perspective. In order to do that, you have to understand what your point is and how it adds value to someone else's life. Do you mean to educate someone? Do you mean to entertain them? Do you mean to inform them? Do you mean to convince them or compel them? You have to do it in a way that makes them feel like they're gaining something from listening to you. Okay, number 4. Before you say anything and before you post anything that you want to communicate to your audience, you have to ask yourself, what is my mood? If you are angry, if you are tired, if you are hungry, if you are emotional, do not post. Wait a minute. Collect your thoughts, write something out, and maybe wait till tomorrow. Here's why. Because if you post something or write something when you're in a mood that will impact your thought process, it might betray points 1 through 3. In other words, you'll get your brand messed up. You'll forget your point. You won't communicate to your audience, and it'll just sort of be a waste of time for you. And maybe you'll be upset that people aren't hearing you the way that you intended, and maybe you'll say something that's wrong. So make sure that you're in the right mood before you say anything or post anything that you want people to hear. Number 5, and I don't think people do this enough, have you listened to other people? All right, if you want to say something, if you want to communicate something, if you want to stand for something, do you know the actual position that you're speaking against? This is really important because sometimes we say things that aren't true and it really makes us look stupid. Looking stupid is the worst. I hate looking stupid. I do it all the time, but it's just the worst. So make sure you know what you're speaking out against, know the nuances, know the details, because when you do, you can find areas of weakness in that position. You can understand which elements of the position that you are standing against are the most dangerous or have the biggest negative effect on other people. So it's important to know the position that you are standing against. It actually helps you craft a better argument against it. Okay, number 6, do you know your own position? I see this time after time, again, as a pastor and as a teacher of the Bible, someone who communicates the Bible for a living. I have to know the Bible. And I see a lot of people communicating about the Bible, and what they're saying is not even close to being true. And the danger in this is that when you do this, you can really mislead people. And something as important as like a faith position, right? Maybe other people communicate on behalf of other faith systems. If you don't know it, you can mislead people, and that's really, really dangerous. It's a really terrible thing to do. So make sure you know your own position. Make sure that you've sorted through the nuances. Make sure that you've studied it. Make sure that you can look like you're intelligent as you are presenting a case. That's super important. Number 7, are you willing to say or admit when you're wrong? Sometimes we speak out against things and later find out that we shouldn't have. It takes a lot of integrity to say, you know what, I shouldn't have said that. I was wrong. Or my position or opinion on that issue was not correct. This is so rare in the age of social media debate. But I'll tell you what, if you can do that, it shows your integrity. It shows what kind of human being you are. And so if you make a big statement, if you have a big opinion, be okay with saying, you know what, I was wrong. Because that shows that you are someone who could be trusted down the road. All right, number 8, and this is a tough one. Before you say anything, before you post anything, before you dig your heels in the ground, ask yourself this question. Am I willing to lose friends or relationships? Because when you take big stands on things, or big stances, is that how you'd say it, on things, you're going to upset people. You have to ask yourself if it's worth it. You have to ask yourself if what you're standing for or standing against is worth making people upset. I have said things, I don't know how many sermons I've given, hundreds. I don't know how many hundreds or maybe even thousands of hours I have recorded on video. I've upset people. And I'm insecure. I don't like upsetting people. I don't want people to be mad at me. But I also know that the things I say are important. And so if people aren't going to like me because of them, I don't like that, but you know, that's kind of on them, right? And if you feel that same way, if you're okay with it, then say what you got to say. Number 9, do you believe in it? Are you passionate about it? Passion is catchy. It's one of the reasons that people think that I'm an effective preacher, because I'm passionate about what I preach on. If you're passionate about this topic, talk about it. If not, find something else to talk about, because people won't be compelled by people who are plain toast. Talk about the things that move you. Talk about the things that drive you. Talk about the things that make your heart stir. And when you do this, other people will be convinced too. And then you'll make a difference. Okay, and finally, do you feel called? Do you feel equipped? Do you feel informed to speak out? You know, I know a lot of people feel like there's pressure in society to speak out about something, but they don't necessarily feel called to do so. They don't feel like it's within their knowledge base or it's within their ability. If you feel like saying something is going to hurt your cause or the thing that you're passionate about, then don't say it. But you know what you can do? You can support other people who are going to be saying it. So what that means is if you know someone who is passionate about this issue that you're passionate about, send them a message encouraging them. Pray for them, support them. If they say something wrong, let them know it's okay. If you aren't the speaker, if you aren't the voice, support and love those that are the voice. It's okay. We all have our own role in doing the right thing and speaking life into good things. So if you're not called to speak, don't speak. If you're still passionate and you still believe in a position, support the ones that do feel called to speak, because they need it. Because again, it's a lonely thing. And the reason that people watch videos like this is because they don't know how to do it. And maybe they want to. And so for you, your role could be simply encouraging them and coaching them and helping them through it. And being there for them when they make a mistake, when they say something wrong, when they lose a friend. That could be your role. I hope this encouraged you to do what you feel called to do and gave you some tips and pointers on how to do it effectively.